first person of color to direct a Star Wars film. It's set to be released in 2026. You can say that the force is strong with this one. Here's Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy.
You know, I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special. And we're in 2024 now. And I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
What are they doing?
Okay, so Mark knows nothing about this topic.
Yeah.
And that was a perfect intro to this.
Oh, you're recording already?
Yeah, so thing one, thing two, and stupid one here. Who doesn't know how to dress himself for these videos.
Hey, girl.
Well, I wanted to bring this up because on New Year's Eve, CNN had the interview, for some reason, with the new director of the next upcoming Star Wars movie that's not due until 2026.
Okay. So let's take a walk back in the new Star Wars movies and the biggest complaints that we've seen, right? Is
the horrible story?
Well, the horrible story, but then there's this underlying element of wokeness, right? Like that everybody's like, well, you got to make the main characters a female, and of course you've got to have, you know, the black stormtrooper in there as part of your team. Like it's all these diverse, like adding all this diversity.
But I don't think that was the anger part of any of it. It started to go bad when the stories went bad.
Yeah, the stories were bad. That wasn't. I'm not going to say it was an anger part of it, but it was definitely a part that people were like, huh. You know?
See, when The Force Awakens was announced, I did not care that Rey was the main character. I did not care that Finn was in there. It did not. I saw the movie. I said, oh, this is fun. And then they completely destroyed Finn. They made Rey the biggest Mary Sue character ever in Star Wars.
Yes.
And the ending just ripped off Marvel's Endgame, the final movie. There's more of us, Poe. There's more, and there's billion starships there that suddenly snuck up on the bad guys, and like it was really bad. But anyway, the new director.
It's about to get bad.
I have a conspiracy theory about this.
So do I.
Okay, because her entire body of work has been done in Pakistan. And she's won 2 Oscars. She's the youngest woman of color to ever win 2 Oscars. Terrific. For shorts. Short documentaries is what she won. Her entire other mainstream is 2 Ms. Marvel episodes. You know, the series that no one watched on Disney+.
Okay, so she's got 2 Star Wars projects coming up, and 1 show that's in pre-production called Reggae Girls.
Yeah, she's a highly acclaimed activist, and she makes no bones about it. In fact, during this interview, she comes out and says she can't wait we're going to do something very special. And hey, it's 2024. It's about time we had a woman guide the galaxy far, far away. Even though Kathleen Kennedy's been in charge for 10 years.
But here's the thing. Like, she has a history. She has said in other interviews that she likes to make men uncomfortable. But just look at the list here. Yep. She has Reggae Girls coming up. She has other things called...
Fundamental. Gender justice. No exceptions.
Cetera. Let Girls Dream. Freedom Fighters. There's a picture of a woman in a uniform there. A Girl in the River. So we could see the trend here. This is what she's all about. She's about women in cinema.
And from her country. Mostly. A lot of it. Like, it's all Pakistan short films and documentaries that she's done.
Well, I imagine as she grew up in Pakistan, she was making Pakistani content.
Exactly. But I mean, she's done nothing mainstream to earn a $300 million movie.
No.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay, so what's your conspiracy theory?
But why does CNN on New Year's Eve have an interview with a director who hasn't shot a single thing yet for Star Wars, doesn't even have a script for Star Wars yet, and it doesn't come out for 2026? I don't think Disney set up that interview. I think she set up that interview because she's afraid she's going to be one of the many thousands of directors that have been announced and then fired from Disney projects.
And that's still might happen.
There are
That doesn't even matter, because even if they're announced and working on it, they still fire them. It's not going to protect
But
them.
I think she did this to try and, hey, look, first director of color and first person to do Star Wars. You look bad firing me. I think she's doing it more than Disney did this.
Okay, but it doesn't take away from the fact that she has been put in the place of director of the next movie.
She is not the person to direct a Star Wars movie because, and I'm going by the body of work. This is the trouble. Look who they put Nina DaCosta in front of Marvel's, right? A $300 million movie. The only movie she did before that was Candyman. They came out with a low budget horror movie that came out with very mediocre reviews. How do you give somebody that big of, like, she's a young director. She hasn't worked in the industry forever. How do you give her that project yet?
Okay, well,
Don't you have to earn it?
I have another conspiracy theory, and it might be really, really far-fetched and have no basis in reality.
Which is most of your conspiracy theories.
But I think Kathleen Kennedy is doing this on purpose so that she gets fired, so that she can sue Disney.
Well, they don't have to fire her now because her contract's up. They can just let her go. And by the way...
Who? Kennedy?
Yeah. The contract's up at the end of this year. So, first of all, how does she still have a job? Because every project she's worked on since The Force Awakens has steadily declined and gone down. Every single project.
The problem, though, is it's declining and going down, but it's still making $1 billion.
No.
What's Star Wars making?
What is it making? What was the last Star Wars movie you saw? 2019. Was it 2019 or 2018 even?
I don't know. Rise of Skywalker, I think, made like 900 million.
No, it made the billion. It did cross the billion. But from a $2 billion movie into the third one, which should have made more, to barely making $1 billion.
And the problem is it's not just that the Star Wars is making $1 billion, yay, but they're not selling any merch. They're not
and that's a big part of it.
The theme park hotel, you know.
I had to close.
Yeah, so they're losing big time outside of the movie.
And then you throw in Willow, which they had to cancel off their service to save money. It was cheaper for them to call it a tax write-off than keep it on Disney+. And then throw in Indiana Jones, which is basically voted the worst movie of the year on everybody's chart I've been watching so far. All the big critics, everyone.
Wow. That's hyperbole.
Well,
it wasn't the worst movie of the year. Maybe the most
disappointing.
Yeah.
That's the key element. And for the individual person reviewing it. But I mean, it was a dumpster fire of a movie.
No, it was not a dumpster fire of a movie. It was just disappointing for the fan base.
Well, here's the thing about Indiana Jones. In my opinion, it's the only series out there that the first movie was the best, the second movie was second best, the third was third best, the fourth was fourth best, the fifth was fifth best.
No, I don't think so. The third was better than the second.
No.
Yeah.
Fight!
But I don't understand, like...
I don't get their choice here. Like, Miss Marvel was terrible. Like, it was terrible.
Actually, it got good reviews, but no one watched it. Because it was aimed at a young female girl audience of, you know...
You can't go from the reviews, because we all know that the reviews are skewed.
No, but even people who hate Star Wars, Marvel, were saying that this was an okay show.
Well, let's go outside of this and just... Okay, this is Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Their flagship property, Star Wars. Now, they just want to save the franchise, and so they go out and get this director with review scores of 6.3, 7.1, 4.0, 6.5, 6.5.
Yep.
Excuse me?
Yeah, those are not great numbers.
Who's never done a major Hollywood feature film. Who's never done a science fiction film. Who's probably never even watched a Star Wars movie.
Like, could they not go and get somebody, like the director of Oppenheimer or what have you?
Even Patty Jenkins was supposed to do Rogue Squadron. Remember that big announcement that D23 when she stood in front of the starfighter and she's going, "Hey, look, the X-Wing's behind me. My father was a fighter pilot. I'm really excited." Cancelled. Like, at least Patty Jenkins has a history of making movies. Like, I don't get Kathleen Kennedy. And I don't get how she still has a job. Is it only because she's a woman? Is that the only reason? Or does she have some inside scoop on somebody in the high rankings at Disney that will get them in trouble? Because there's no way this person should still have a job.
No.
At all.
This is not what Star Wars needs. Like right now, everybody... I think if this movie actually starts getting filmed...
This is the opposite of what Star Wars needs.
This is the nail in the coffin.
Had they come out and said, you know what? We're going to reset. We're going to start everything over. Jon Favreau, take the lead, make a movie. At least people would get excited. Yeah. We have somebody who's done Iron Man. We've had somebody who's done really good movies.
Maybe, but like other than the fresh start with Mandalorian, which people were happy with because it was something new and different, Favreau hasn't wowed me.
Except Mandalorian Season 3, which is the one we hated the most, is the one Kathleen Kennedy admitted she stepped in, changed the entire direction of the show.
Regardless, I don't know if Favreau has the chops to be the Star Wars savior that everybody says he is, but I haven't seen.
Is she?
Well, obviously not.
No, well, which would you...
But I can't
If you're a fan, would you be more excited if Jon Favreau at least was given a shot?
No, because Favreau was in there and Star Wars was not saved. So until he can show me...
It was closer to being saved, though, than at any other point since they've done the prequels.
Okay, but that's not good enough. Go get somebody who knows how to make movies.
Except he does.
But he didn't.
He hasn't made a movie yet.
I don't have any evidence that he could do Star Wars. Sure, he might like Star Wars, he might say the right things, but I haven't seen it. So don't say that he's the savior of Star Wars.
But you haven't seen anybody do a Star Wars movie.
Nobody said he is the savior.
We're saying at least give him a shot.
He could be.
Well,
he could change the direction of the franchise.
Out of all the Star Wars out there, there's only been 2 positive Star Wars things in the past 10 years now. One was the Season 1 of Mandalorian, and one was Andor got really good reviews. And that's it, and no one watched it. No one watched it. All this other stuff, the Book of Boba Fett, the Ahsoka series, the movies that have been coming out, all a catastrophe except maybe Rogue One, and that was saved by the end with Darth Vader coming out and slaughtering everybody. Imagine that. The bad guy comes out, kills all the heroes, and everyone cheered. And that's saved.
Yeah, but I don't know what you're getting to.
That Star Wars is in huge trouble, and they went and got a director who's never done a Hollywood movie, has never done a science fiction picture, has no experience doing any of this except activism, short film, documentaries.
And has fairly poor ratings on the things that she has done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... I don't know. It's like they're trolling us.
It is, because... at least give us a director who's directed something to say, you know what, we're really trying to save Star Wars. Instead, they're trying to bury it even further than it is. And I see Disney selling Star Wars now, and I never thought I'd see that happen. And guess what? You're going to get pennies on the dollar for what you paid for it. It's great, but I mean... but